In the next 20 minutes, I'll be talking about what user experience means today and how it will look like in the near future. We knew user experience is something that we sketch out on paper, but today we understand that in the future, there is a transition from sketching on your designs on paper into storytelling. And I'll explain the sentence as we go along. I'll go back even in time to tell you where I started that. In the year 2000, I started my master's degree at the Technion Institute of Technology in Israel. And when I started, one of the lecturers I really appreciated, Professor Norman Schwalm, told us, listen, user experience is all about storytelling. And it took me some time to understand what he meant, because you're used to taking a UI, thinking of navigation models, and the more time goes by, I understand more the importance of this sentence, and I'll try to show you that throughout the presentation, how it evolves to our day and age and how it will evolve in the future. So we step forward in time to the year 2007. This is the way that people used to browse the internet. It sounds funny, we're not so far from there, but this is how, and not most people, because most people didn't even browse the internet, didn't go there, it didn't interest them, they didn't find any content relevant for them. But whoever did go there, this is what he saw. And shortly afterwards, in June of 2007, what happened is that iPhone released their first iPhone. Now, it's a bit symbolic. I imagine most of you know that today Apple are releasing the 6th version of it. But what's interesting that the story didn't change much. You're still having the same story, the same concept. And what's amazing about it, despite the fact that I'm not an Apple fan, I admit, what's amazing about it that nothing changed when they launched the iPhone, meaning that there weren't any significant technological changes. The iPhone, the internet was there in a certain speed, which was adequate. Touchscreens weren't new. People were using them for different implementations. And overall, nothing was innovative about the technology. What was innovative about it was the story they told. They told a good story. They brought an innovation. They brought something that said, okay, we're taking all these parts together, combining them into a new vision. And that's actually UX. Now, we go to our day and age, 2014. The phone of iPhone and my phone are quite similar today. But what's changed? It's a good question. So let's see what's changed. We interact everywhere, anywhere. When I do my work, I have on my application, on my smartphone, I have side by side my work applications, my mail, and at the same time, when I go jogging, I have my jogging application, my Nike application, which helps me monitor my jog. So we evolve around technology everywhere. It's not that it's confined to our desk or our computer or our work. We do it everywhere, we consume it everywhere, and the same paradigms that we consume at work, we consume on consumer apps, as Rafi said earlier. And the way we interact, if not long ago we used to interact using our mouse, that was the way that everybody expected us to do. So today, you don't even need to touch the screen. My kids play Xbox, it identifies their body. And you know what? They even don't understand the novelty about it. They think it's natural. Why shouldn't the device see my hand and click the button? Same goes for even last year's generation smartphones, the Samsung S4, for example. You can see, it can identify if you're looking at the device or not. It can identify if your hand gestures above it without even touching it and manipulating it. So the technology is here. Even Apple, I don't know if you're aware of it, just purchased an Israeli company that their technology is in the Xbox in order to implement it in their future TVs. So you won't be necessary, in order to operate your TV, you won't need a keyboard or any other type of manipulation. You'll just use your body for it. When you look at the landscape of the real estate, in the past you used to say, okay, I have my desktop, I interact with it. I have a certain screen. I have a smartphone, I interact with it. But today, everything is the surface. I interact with everything. I can interact with the kitchen table. I can interact with my Google Glasses. I can interact with my watch. I don't know if you're following on technological news, but somebody in the industry is taking out a watch. And it's not confined only to watches. If you look at the different, I'll call it glass sizes, you can see that there's nothing to align with. Look at the sizes. In the past, and not the far past, three years ago, I used to receive a question from developers telling me, okay, Oded, what's the native resolution do I need to develop for? This question is far from sounding irrelevant in any parameter of it today. So the question is, everything has become, in essence, mobile today. The notion of desktop is not relevant. The notion of having fixed devices is not relevant anymore. So what do we need to do? We do a few things. First of all, we design something that creates a one experience across all platforms, across all glass sizes. This is an example, by the way, of an HP product that we developed for consuming applications, enterprise applications, on various glass sizes. This is another approach we can implement, is designing responsive. It's about thinking about our design and thinking how it will look like in every screen size. This is an example of our best practice sharing website, the Center of Excellence that I manage. That's how we share our information inside HP, and you consume it on any screen size, from 30-inch until a smart smartphone. And we do manipulate it in the different screen sizes and omit out information that's not relevant for us in use cases for the smartphone, for example. But still, the approach is to have one approach that knows how to adapt itself for the different screen sizes and glasses. Another important thing to remember is that a lot of people say, okay, we're scaling down in size to a smaller screen size or a small glass. That's a disadvantage. We have a challenge to think what's in and what's out. But a lot of people misunderstand it and forget that it's a very big advantage, because your smartphone has a camera to it. It has a lot of sensors to it. A camera, it can scan barcodes, okay? I can record things. When I record things, it can automatically write text. I don't even need to use my keyboard. I have proximity. You know, one of the leading banks in Israel has an application that you can take two smartphones and bump them together, and then you transmit money. Personally, I won't use it, but it's a nice thing, a nice implementation of technology. It shows you that all these sensors can be utilized and create something amazing, and that's an advantage. Okay, so there is a question. Is user interface the only thing revolutionizing our experience? I imagine most of the people in the room say, okay, what Oded is saying is quite natural. I understand that. But the answer to that is no. It's not the only thing revolutionizing our experience today. What's revolutionizing our experience today and will revolutionize and impact our experience in the future is big data. Big data changes everything, revolutionizes everything we know. And I'll explain to you, because what is big data in essence? Most of us think it's something far away from us, but it's everything about us. It's a bit scary, because if we think about it from a privacy or us as a big brother, as opposed to a lot of information about us, it's a bit scary. But if you think about it, everything we do today, act today, is recorded and stored. Everything. You search the web for something, it's recorded. You order tickets from somewhere, it's recorded. You send emails. So all this information is stored and can be utilized. And when you store all this information, and information is growing in an exponential manner today, you can derive a lot of insights of it. I don't know if you know, when you receive your credit card bills, if you check it, you'll see that the promotions there are derived from your purchases, meaning that there's someone sitting on your information, and in some cases that may be a bit awkward, and based on your expenses knows what to offer you. So you're trying to understand how it can be implemented in the day-to-day lives. So I'll give you a simple solution of that. You know, I live on the 6th floor, and 99% of the times when I take the elevator home, I press the 6th floor. I never press other floors. You know, 1% of the times I visit my neighbors, but 99% it's on the 6th floor. So you'd ask yourself, okay, why do I need to press the 6th floor? Why, when I come to the elevator, isn't there a small tiny camera recognizing me as Oded? Okay, because I do that every day, and it already learns that this face is associated with the 6th floor, even without my credentials, and presses the 6th floor automatically. Wouldn't you expect that? It's not a wow from a technological perspective. It's just connecting the story properly. Another nice example, a very simple one, is our computers. When I open my computer, it's my personal computer. You'd expect it when I open it that it can identify me, and it wouldn't cause me to log into it. Maybe identify me in a smart manner, or not only recognize my face, maybe in other manners. You'd expect the computer also to take and supply me or give me the use cases that I usually do in the morning. My day isn't similar to my colleague's day. I have certain things that I do in the morning, and he approaches his morning in a different manner. I like to write and address certain mails that come for certain people. That can be my manager, it can be my skip manager. Since the information about how I work is stored in the computer, You'd expect it to be something that addresses my needs and knows how to interact with me. Okay, so the whole topic is called invisible UI, this whole notion. And if you'd want to break it down in something more tangible or something that's more understandable, you need to think about this statement. To get what I want, when I need it, and in my immediate context. This is invisible UI. And till now, you're probably asking yourself, okay, that's very interesting what he's talking about, but practically, what do I do with it tomorrow when I go to work? So I'll give you some examples from the consumer space, okay? Google Now and Waze. Who of you are aware or know what Google Now is? Raise your hand. Okay, so we have most of the audience, but to those who don't know, Google Now is an application that tries to be like a personal assistant, okay? One of my team members installed Google Now, and a week later, she was planned to fly to Greece. Real story. About one day before she flew to Greece, she opened Google Now, and suddenly Google Now told her the following information. It told her, listen, your flight is scheduled to go on time. The temperature in Athens, Greece is 25 degrees. Now, she never told the device she wants that information. She never asked the device. She never worked for the device, okay? But the device, Google Now, knew because it's part of the stream of information that she bought a ticket to Greece in a certain date, in a certain flight, and knew to supply her that information. Now, it's a bit scary from a personal security perspective, but that's amazing. That's exactly what invisible UI is. It's technology working for you and not you working for technology. Now, what Google and Waze is a social navigation application, and what they've done, they've combined the two together, and now, we usually think that we're unique, and every day, it's a new day. You can't anticipate what will be because we're so unique. But in practice, we're quite boring people. We have the same ritual every morning. We wake up at the same time. We arrive at work at the same time. We're boring. That's our lives. And Google understood that. And what they do, they know when you go to work, and they know when you go back from work. And with this combination, what they're doing is that an hour before you go to work, they check the traffic, and before you go home, an hour before you go home, they anticipate you go home because most of the days you go at the same time, they check traffic, and then if there's a traffic jam, they alert you and say, Oded, you should consider going earlier today because there's a traffic jam on your way home today, okay? So that's invisible UI. Another example is Walmart. Most of you, to those who don't know, Walmart is a supermarket. And most people could ask themselves, okay, what can be innovative about a supermarket? It's a super. You come, you purchase products. Now, Walmart did something that I can describe as amazing, okay? They set a goal for themselves. They said, okay, we expect to increase our share of purchases from online traffic by 40%. But we don't expect to do that only by utilizing the online sales. We want to increase it also by interaction in the shops and the stores themselves. And what they did, they did the following. They said, okay, you can take your smartphone, okay, when you shop. And when you shop, you have a camera to your smartphone that can connect to a barcode scanner. And you just put the things in your cart and scan them. Every product you want, you just scan and put in your cart. And when you finish purchasing your product, you just click Submit Cart and leave the store. You don't have to waste valuable time waiting in line and queue for the cashier. You just go home. Now, they saved a few cashiers in the shops. That's okay. But what they did is amazing. Now they have information about you. They know to target, and when they give you promotions, they give you promotions that really target what you want and need. Okay? So if in psychology there's a term, banner blindness, they're overcoming it because you want to use their banners, because it serves you. It's giving you, as I said earlier, what you want, when you need it, and in context. And they have in their hands something even more amazing. They know the flow that you want to go in their shop, which products you purchase first and which products you purchase later. Now, what's even more amazing about that? Because as I said, each one of us is a bit different. We're boring people, but each one is boring in his individual manner. So my wife is boring in her manner, but when she goes shopping, she prefers to go to one section, okay? So Walmart, in their application, because each one of us has a personal device, knows exactly what to offer my wife as opposed to what to offer me. It may cause some problems for me at home because, different strategies. When my wife sends me to buy things, she gets pissed off sometimes, but that's the price of life probably. Okay, so is that all? That's a question. And the question is this the whole revolution we're talking about? And to answer is that the next leap? And the answer again is no. Our next leap is about the different elements you probably heard about, Internet of Things, okay? Internet of Things and wearables. Now, wearables, everybody's trying to take out wearables, and everybody's trying to connect something to the Internet. And you're probably asking yourselves why. First of all, let's start from this. This is the operating system of a car, okay? Every car manufacturer that respects himself has an operating system inside the car. And today, you don't hear about it. It's something that's quieted out, but there's a war outside there. Apple, Google, and Microsoft are in a huge war. They're in a war about the interface, operating system of your life. They want everything to be connected. The TV, the car, your computer at work, your smartphone device, your tablet. They want to dominate your lives. And they're in a war right now. Apple have taken an approach like Google for targeting from the mobile into the devices like TVs and cars. And Microsoft are trying to expand their reach from the personal computers outwards. And why do they want to do that? Because when you have one experience, you can tell a better story, okay? If you look at the wristband by Jawbone, okay? It's a nice thing, it's a wearable, it connects to my smartphone, and it helps me to get information about what I'm doing, okay? So I can track my running experience, and it's a nice scenario. And let's look at the last thing, the Nest. It's a thermometer, okay, that knows to adapt itself. It's connected to the internet, and I can manipulate and operate my air conditioner from home. And it can learn me and know which temperatures I want in which hours, because as I said, we're boring people. But you're asking yourself, how do all of these things connect? Okay, it's cool, but what do I do with it? And as I said in the beginning, it's all about storytelling, and UX is all about it. So I'll tell you a small story, okay? I went out last evening to a run outside, okay? Using my Jawbone and my smartphone, okay? When I come home, I usually like to cool out my house because I'm sweaty, I'm hot, I want to cool out. My applications have already learned me, as I said, big data. And when I get close to home, my GPS and my smartphone already connects to my Nest thermometer. It lowers the temperature at home, so I get to a cooler place, okay? I get home, the house is cool like I like it. I didn't do anything. Technology is working for me. I got home, I took a shower, my wife just came home, and we're sharing a car at home, okay? So I go to my car, I sit in my car, and the car identifies me. Everything is personalized to what my preferences are. The radio stations are changed. The volume of the music, the volume of the air conditioning, even the seat of my car adjusts based on my preferences. So look how all these devices recognize me and work for me. Now, the question is, there's a big question. Okay, this is what's happening or starting to happen in the consumer space. And the big question about it is, okay, how will it evolve? How will it evolve in the consumer space? And how will these use cases evolve in the enterprise? How can we utilize it to our advantage in the enterprise? As I said earlier, a lot of information is stored about us, okay? Maybe in our private lives, we have some control about the information. But when we go to work, we have no control about our information. And all the things that we do at our workspace is recorded and documented. Everything to the last thing. So we're almost at the year 2015, okay? And I'd like to share with you a few first steps that HP is doing in order to fulfill that dream. Because HP has a lot of technologies in the domain of big data. And what we're doing is, first of all, this is an example of an application, okay? The application for opening incidents. When you have a problem, for example, with your computer, you call a help desk. And this application helps to manage a help desk, okay? And when you call, you open a ticket. So for example, in yesterday's world, when I had a problem with my Exchange server, meaning my email is not working, which in an enterprise environment, this is a mission-critical issue, because when you can't send out emails, meaning you're not productive, meaning millions of dollars every second are going down the drain. Using our big data technology today, we know to anticipate and identify incidents before they actually happen. We understand through different elements inside the system that are constantly monitoring, and due to information that's constantly recorded about our activities inside the network, when you call the service desk, there's an automatic ticket that has been already opened, and when you call help desk, they already know to give you the first mitigation, and they're saving these very expensive hours of downtime. As you understood from this lecture, the technology is here. And as I said in the beginning, it's all about storytelling. The question is, what story are you going to write about these elements in your next project? The question is, what are you going to do with it? And it's up to you to take it to the next level and bring the next novelty and write the next UX, not only as a screen, but also as a story. Thank you very much.